Hi everyone. Welcome back to our Game of Thrones Song of Ice and Fire role-playing, tabletop role-playing campaign after the fire. It's, as was so pointed out to me in our Discord this week, Ladies' Night tonight. It's all the gals. And a special guest, the one and only my wife. Ash is here. Hello.
Hello.
Let's go around, have a chat with people, and then we can do any announcements and sponsorship and stuff too. Charlie, you're back. I saw you on Monday when you were pooped.
Yeah,
Bless
I
you.
was very pooped on
After
Monday.
Encounter Con.
Yeah, it was such a good, wholesome, fun weekend. And then I was really excited to play Game of Thrones, so I didn't want to cancel it. But the whole session, my brain was just flatlining. But luckily, I have this amazing cast who I can just be like, I want you to do the scene. Do the scene for me. Where you go.
It's true. I was the victim there. It's true.
Yeah. I also got yesterday my fresh new merch. I have the Forget Me Not shirt, and I got it in a men's XL, so I can wear it as PJs.
Nice.
But I also have the Daddy Issues and Treason in the female large, I think, which I also really like. They're both the same softness for anyone wondering if there's any material difference. It's the same. Yeah, I'm super hyped to play tonight. I'm ready. I've been on my coffee today. I'm back into all of my social media accounts for work, which makes me a lot happier and a lot less distracted. Yeah, I'm excited. I've been building the new season for Encounter, and I'm now hooked on Red Dead Redemption. It's all I think about between other things. I just want to go back to being my twitchy cowgirl who has no problems at all.
As like a little backstage friendship group, we have not had a game since Sea of Thieves where some of us have been so obsessed with stuff. You guys have just taken Red Dead, and I'm gonna be over here with Crusader Kings in my corner for a while. I think just leave me alone. It's fine. Yeah, I'm glad you guys have got it. And to be fair, I can see why, because Tom and Susie did we're just in our Discord, did a private stream where I was watching. And then I was Googling what the Wild West was, because it's never been a genre I've been that interested in. But I started seeing okay, well, what was it? What was the expansion like? What was what the fuck is the thingy purchase, the Louisiana Purchase or whatever?
Yeah.
And I was like, what? That's a lot of I was learning it because you get interested in it. So
yeah, it's just such a pretty game, and it's been a long time since I've had a game where I don't feel guilty playing it.
Yeah.
I have this problem where I'm I'm playing that is kind of wasting my time. I should be doing other things. Where this game, I just put it on and I switch off, and
it's actually got flow,
silly things. Yeah, but it's also not one of those games where it's constantly keep doing stuff. You can't turn off, which I quite like. I quite like that I can turn it off whenever the fuck I want, or I can keep playing it for however long I want, and there's stuff to do.
That's the vibe I got as well when I was watching it. It's cool. Nice one. All right. Well, I'm super excited to see what happens tonight. And Susie, you are back with us. Were not here last week, if I remember rightly. My brain just has a fart for no reason.
Was I here last week? No, wait.
Remember?
Oh my god!
Yes, you were.
Yes,
I
was. Charlie wasn't. It's okay because me and Charlie are the same
That's
person,
right.
so I can understand how you get confused.
Sorry.
No. But I'm hyped to be back. I got some scores to settle. I got some things to do. And I killed someone on Monday in Game of Thrones, so I want to see if it's 2 for 2. See if I can get 2 kills this week.
She was nice to you. You didn't really earn that.
Yeah, I did kind of give it that too. Susan.
Yeah, I know. But still, I'm counting it.
No, it's good though, and I think the appropriate ending to that scene too. Cool. All right. Yeah, I'm super excited to see again what Miri gets up to this week. She's got another round in the melee to do.
Let's go.
And intrigues afoot, I'm sure. I'm giving you guys quite a bit of freedom this week to kind of pick some intrigues that you like. I don't have any particular massive agendas because the person with the agenda is the person in our guest seat today. So there we go. And V is back with us for sure. She wasn't here last week, definitely because
I was definitely not here last week
because we're doing the weirwood stuff at the top of this show. Yes, absolutely. And you had a haircut.
I did. I have a mohawk now.
It's super cool.
I love it. I don't know why I didn't do this 10 years ago when I first wanted to, but
that's fair.
Here we are.
It looks awesome. Yeah. And you've been streaming this week as well?
Yeah, I did more of my continued adventures of a questionable Witcher yesterday. Which basically I was like, fuck doing any actual quests. Let's just go around and see what all the question marks on the map are.
So you're playing The Witcher. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lots of talking to an animated horse. And my chat ripping on me because I'm terrible at spotting things.
It's true. You have a passive perception of like 5.
I really. Oh, Sam, it touches my heart that you think it's 5 because everyone else says it's 0.
No, it's 5. You know,
It's 5. I can proofread, right? It's good enough to prove. But yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow with Susie for Fracking Friday, so we can scream about this episode of After the Fire.
Oh, sweet. It's back.
We always say that we're not going to do the big spoilery things, and then every week, just as we get into ranked matches where we need to play good, we're like, but what about this thing that happened?
You need to concentrate. Yeah.
Yeah, forget that. We'll stay in Copper 5 if it means we can scream about our characters.
Fair. Cool. Well, I'll definitely tune into that for sure. And then Ash is with us. Welcome in.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. You saw me like 2 minutes ago.
I mean, I know because I spoke to you like 5 minutes ago, but yeah, good. Hopefully not too tired from first day back at school.
Quite exhausted, but we'll see how this goes.
Please don't fall asleep.
I'll try not to. No promises.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Cool. All right then. And I'm excited to have you back at the table because we played a home game for ages of this very game. Set in the Riverlands with House Coral. Was nestled in the green and the blue fork up near the Trident, and they had loads of loads of cash. I just built that up and up and up and up.
Well, we had that toll, so we were rolling in it.
You had everything, a toll, a market,
We
all
did.
sorts of shit,
We
and
did.
you could just like get tons of money. You know,
Mhm.
kind of
And we
breaks the
spent
game a
it
bit
all.
once you have too much money. Which is why I said to you guys at the very top of house creation, like just spam it into some money if in doubt, because that's how to do it. Is Charlie frozen again? Oh no, she blinked. Okay, good. We had some wobblies before coming on stream, and I was worried that Charlie had frozen again.
So that was my intense I'm reading something face as I'm checking the rules for something for later.
Oh, juicy already. All right then, cool. Well, so let's cover announcements and sponsors. Obviously, we are in the Roll20 spotlight. We use all of our dice rolling and everything like that uses Roll20. Head over to roll20.net, check out, get a free account, even for GMs, and set up and have a good time. I've used it for ages, even with a pro account, but even with a free account, it is really good software, and I find very easy to use as well. And there's tons of help out there, on like wikis and their community as well. And then we mentioned the merch. I've got my After the Fire t-shirt. There's the Daddy Issues and Treason, and there's Forget Me Not. Grab those if you want them, because they do help us out a huge amount as well. And I take a great amount of pride this week in saying that we have released a preview of the manuscript for our spy game. And it has been very well received so far. I've had people almost kind of out of the blue talk about how they like it so far. We've had people out of the blue talk about how they want it to do this, that, and the other on Twitter. I had someone message me to say that there was there's a typo they found, but the info at Black Cat's bounced, and there was a typo in their message that they then corrected, and so I said, the irony. That was my week. But yeah, so we're very close. We're now into layout. So Wit, who did the quick start for us and did the design work on the actual page, structure and stuff, is back at the helm there, and I'm really excited to see what he gets up to and how he does on it, because he is exceptional at that kind of stuff, and I can't wait. But I'll have to indulge myself instead in playing After the Fire, which we will get started off. So let's kick off with Season 4, Episode 9, Only the Gods Will Know. So it is quite late into the evening, and Mara, you have finally worked up the courage to take the long walk up to the keep, through Fox Hollow Hamlet itself, and into the Godswood. The familiar graves of Sir Oliver and your father off to your right hand side, and in the center is this grand weirwood tree with its white bark and crying face, sorrowed, as if isolated and left out of the frivolity of the feast inside the hall. You take a few steps inside, and is there anything that you would like to do while you wait for Lady Marcia?
I think she's just kind of, because she's very comfortable in the Weirwood Grove, but she is nervous about speaking to Marcia, because for the whole time they've been here, they've exchanged one conversation. But I think she probably wanders past her father's grave and just kind of spends a minute looking at it, and Oliver's as well. Is Samuel's sword still at the graveside?
Charlie, I want you to roll for me a Hollow Hearts skill check,
Right.
like ability test. I want you to roll their awareness.
Let me just grab them.
Do the Hollow Hearts go into the Weirwood much?
I don't think so. I think because it's like such a sheltered little place that you literally have to go through the castle to get to. It's not something they super need to do. All right. They apparently don't have any additional awareness for Hollow Hearts.
Okay. So I was going to say, I think the difficulty there is a 12. So one above a kind of average of 9. So, yeah.
I would have had to have rolled 2 6s.
Fair enough. So the sword is still at the gravesite.
I think she probably takes a moment and noticing that it's still there. Because I don't know if she expects that it would be. She probably thinks that somebody would have moved it by now, or somebody's been up here since then. But I think she kind of smiles to herself at remembering that night and the action that Samuel took there. And I think if anything, she just goes over by the tree and just kind of waits. I mean, I don't know if there's somewhere to sit in the Godswood canonically, but I'm sure that there is something which could be sat upon.
I always thought there was a bench.
I imagined a bench or some tree stumps.
There was a fallen tree that we've kind of divoted into with bums over time that Marcia sat on a number of times.
I like that. Yeah.
I think,
so there is this natural bench.
Mara goes and sits over in the place that she remembers her father would always sit when he brought her up here.
Mm-hmm. And the wind picks up somewhat, and the leaves sound like a downpour of water as they rustle. And it masks the sound of Marcia walking up the incline up to the Godswood. But yeah, as you turn, here she is. Charlie, how does Marcia, and has she dressed any particular way? Is she with anybody?
So Marcia arrives and she doesn't appear surprised at all that Mara is here. It's almost as if she'd already seen her walk into this Godswood. Marcia, rather than the brighter, elegant silk she's been wearing for most of the tournament, is wearing a more simple dress in black, which actually is a majority of her wardrobe since she had a lot of widow's clothing for a long time. And so this is possibly an older dress that maybe was a maternity dress that Mara has seen, but it's been kind of taken back in at the waist. Now there's not a giant bump. And she wears her older, not a crown, as she joins her stepdaughter.
The weirwood tree looks back at you in horror, screaming. Almost in surprise, perhaps in fear.
I think Mara stands when she sees Marcia. She's kind of lost in her thoughts, and then eventually when Marcia's close enough that, you know, that her footsteps aren't drowned out by the rustling, she stands up, and I don't think she really knows what to say to her. She kind of nods and indicates, and she's got a slight smile. She's happy to see, this woman that she really does have a lot of love for, but doesn't really know what to say. She feels very awkward.
Where is your companion, Mara?
I would hope back at camp, but probably in the hospitality tent, drinking away his bruises for the day, I would imagine.
Yes, I noticed that you both enjoy a party.
Well, once you get a taste for Arbor Gold, and you bring back a few casks of it, you've got to drink it at some point.
More than a taste, from what I've been told.
Perhaps a little too much, yes.
You enjoy indulgence a lot.
I suppose. Who doesn't?
Great number of people, I imagine, who can't afford it. Why did you go to the dance when I explicitly told you you were not welcome?
Honestly, I wanted to see who was here. You told me when you wrote to me about this tournament that it was about peace, that it was about bringing people together. But then I can't go to the event where everybody is together, where all of the politics is happening, where all of the decisions are being made.
Do you not think it was political that you were not invited, not for peace?
Perhaps, but then I did notice that the Lord and Lady Oakhart were invited.
Indeed.
Besides, I wasn't around for long and just wanted to see who was there, perhaps have a dance or two. Then I found somewhere else to enjoy the rest of the evening.
I explicitly asked you not to come to the dance, not for my own vanity or for the lords or ladies, but for the people of this mountain.
None of whom were actually there.
They were. The hall was full of guards. They are the people of this mountain. They are the ones that were murdered by your companion and by your husband.
But not by me.
No, Mara, but you left with your husband and your companion with a trail of bloody feet. You were seen to leave, Mara. You were seen in court.
No idea what had happened when I left. None.
Did you ask?
Yes, for 3 days.
Did you come running into the hall when people were screaming?
No.
No, did you stay put as I'd asked you to?
No, but he was my husband. I had no idea what was going on or why he stormed out.
Nor did you apparently have any idea why I didn't ask you into the hall, and yet once more you defy me. Tell me, Mara, what is your name?
I don't think it's Mara Oakhart anymore.
Nor is it Mara Greenmont.
No,
you have
but
no right to this place anymore.
Not to Fox Hollow, perhaps not. No. But I am still a Greenmont, and that is not something that anybody can take from me. My father gave me that.
Your father is dead.
Yes. That doesn't mean that his blood runs through my veins any less.
He would be disgusted with the alliance you have made.
Perhaps. But I also don't think that he would judge me too harshly for it, considering what I'm trying to leave behind.
What is that, Mara?
You think I want to stay with the man that murdered Oliver?
Oh, so you are allying with Alistair's best friend and conspiratorial companion to escape a marriage.
I think, unlike Alistair, Samuel actually regrets what he did. If he could go back and change it, I think he would.
He rode in the Battle of Brimstone just a few months ago. It seems his violent streak is unending. His desire to bring chaos, destruction, and murder continuing. To be conveniently civil at a party means nothing.
What is a young lord supposed to do? Defy his father when he tells him to go to war?
Yes. If that is his belief. You defy me every time you have an opportunity to.
Yes, but I don't have the same obligations.
You defied Leo
Lord.
Tyrell with your husband and brought a host to my house.
Defies Leo Tyrell.
Yes, they do. He is a weak leader. That is not our conversation. Do you view me as a weak leader, Mara?
Do you think I would have campaigned for you to sit where you sit if I did?
That was 5.5 years ago.
Yes, a lot happened 5.5 years ago. What have I done since then? Tried to find my own path. It was clear I wasn't welcome back here.
You have had your visit to the Godswood. There is your path.
I can understand why you and Miria were hurt. That I left and I tried to protect him. But he was my husband. And I was pregnant and I didn't know what else to do. So I will stand here and for the last time tell you that I am sorry for what happened. But let us not pretend that you are entirely innocent and that blood doesn't run off your hands the same way it does everybody else's in this realm.
My quarrel with you is not your leaving with Alistair.
No, but apparently it was enough quarrel for you to take away the one thing that I had left.
Marcia's eyes go to that wayward tree. I'm not sure what you're accusing me of precisely.
You got my letter. What I sent. Do you think I don't know? I dreamed it, Marcia. I dreamed you with a dagger in my stomach. And I think Mara instinctively, without even realizing it, has got her hands over her stomach.
I buried what you sent me here so that the gods could see their work complete.
The work that you asked of them.
No. I prayed and told them what had happened in the hall. I made suggestions as to proper justice, the withering of the roots of Oakheart, and a bloody hunter to follow the path of Tarly with his lying tongue. What the gods do is their own will. Do you think me so driven to power that I would presume to command gods?
No, but you still asked them. Your words had actions, and those actions cost me, at the time, the last thing I had that was mine, that didn't belong to him, or this house, or anybody else. You took that from me.
The child belonged to House Oakheart.
The child was mine. Marcia, I helped you give birth to my 2 brothers. I was there. I held your hand. I tried to protect you and them. But yet, do you even care that you took my child from me? You really think that some poor babe who was innocent deserved that? Because of something Alistair did?
That was the justice that the gods saw fit.
You can hide behind the gods' justice all you like, Marcia, but you had a hand in that.
I am aware of the blood that is on my hands, Mara. I live with it every day. Just across the mountains is a house that has no name. Just across the mountains in another direction is a house that was fired upon by the prince that was meant to protect that kingdom. Where Alfred died. Where Red Rob died. Where Myria scarcely came back from. I know what I paid for this family. And I know what I will pay to save it now. And she is going to take a seat on the log. And I would like to shift into Salistria's mind out in the Godswood.
So this is a will test.
I can do it anytime I want because of Wog.
Ah, cool. Okay.
Wog.
Yeah. Okay. How does Salistria enter the scene?
Salistria has been stalking in the shadows, restless because of Marcia's mood, but I think she leaps now out of the dark towards Mara at full tilt run.
There's barely a noise as it jumps towards you, and you barely have time to spin around and see it coming towards you. Is this an agility quickness off?
Okay.
Yeah. Rolling for initiative here. So yeah, agility, any quickness bonus dice apply.
8.
Sorry, I just had a message I had to reply to.
That's okay.
Right, agility. We had 2 bonus dice for Salistria because that's what she's got.
13.
13.
Salistria will take the first turn. She is across the Godswood at this point. And you have 2 standard actions, Charlie.
Alright, so my first action, I'm really sorry, B, but also Marcia's really mad, apparently. Is gonna be, I'm just seeing if there's a charge. That's what I couldn't find earlier, but I don't think there is.
There is a charge. It's a greater action, and you can take it to take a penalty dice to your attack, but you will deal an additional 2 damage, 2 base damage, I believe.
Okay, so that's what she'd kind of like to do. Obviously, if I can just do movement and not do the charge, that's fine, but...
The charge basically takes the place of the movement for you. And
okay.
So throwing caution to the wind, you surge forward to destroy your enemy. Charging allows you to combine movement with an attack. You can charge any opponent that's up to twice your movement away. At the end of your charge, you will make a standard attack. You take -1 dice on the attack, but you increase your weapon's damage by +2 for the round. This is the only action you'll take this round, as it's a greater action.
Alright, so she's just going to come out with teeth, because Marcia wants this over as quick as she can.
Okay.
So it's going to be a bite attack. No modifier. -1 dice on that, so that'd be 2 less, so that'd be a 10 to hit.
So 10 against your combat defense.
Oh yeah, that'll hit.
1 degree, 2 degrees.
1, right?
I have a 7.
So that
Junior doesn't know how to work out degrees.
With a 10 is going to be 1 degree of success. So every 5 full every 5 above gives you a degree of success. So with a 7, 2 degrees of success would be a 12. And then 17 would be 3 degrees. And 22 would be 4. So with 1 degree of success, what is your base damage plus 2 there, Charlie?
I'm going to push the button. 6 total.
Plus the 2?
That's plus the 2.
Yeah, okay. So, V, you're going to take 6 damage. I don't believe you have any armor, so you won't absorb any damage.
That puts me at 0.
So, you have a couple of options here. So this would mean that you are defeated, and Charlie could decide what the manner of your defeat would be. You can take an injury, and you can ignore... I take it then your endurance is 2.
Mm-hmm.
You could ignore 2 damage from that attack, and you would be at -1 to your test results. You could take a wound and ignore all of the damage, but you would be at -1 dice to all of your subsequent ability tests.
I'll take an injury, just because I think this is kind of fun and I want to see where it goes.
The other option you have is you can accept defeat, but you can burn a destiny point, and you can decide the manner of your own defeat. Does that claw attack have any qualities?
That's a bite attack, and it has vicious.
Okay, so if V gave you the defeat, you could only pick death.
Yep.
There are no other options.
Mm-mm.
But I could burn my destiny point to decide the manner of my defeat, right? I forgot that was a thing. Do you know, I'm going to go with that because I think that'll be, in the long run, more interesting.
Cool. Okay. I will have to agree to what that is. I think you have a couple of options that I'll put on the table. I think you have Mara disappears for a while, and we do a bit of a Tom, and she'll come back at some point. Or it's maiming, so that is a new drawback that you'll get.
Can I, as a meta collaboration here, what my intention was is if Salistrai was successful was to set you out in the Godswood and make a prayer ritual. So if you then disappeared, that could be really interesting. And you could still have some sort of physical implication if you like, but that could be really interesting, especially with Mara's personal connection herself to the gods. Obviously, Sam can decide the nature of your return and everything.
I love that too. Yeah.
There's a part of me that's really interested in having her maimed though, because obviously she has the attractive quality. That would be really interesting. Meta-wise, I'm not sure if I want to have her disappear, just because there's some other bits and pieces that I'm really interested in seeing her do with what's happening now. And I think the maiming would be interesting because it leaves her and Marzia in a difficult relationship.
Yeah.
So
I think that's the one I'd probably go with.
Okay, my only note would be is Marzia would know that you're not dead because she's a healer. And she would not want to leave you alive since she's committed to it. So that's why I would suggest it appears you're dead. If for the fiction to work for me, Marzia needs to believe you're dead. But you can just be maimed magically, whatever, and come back, not disappear forever. Is that okay with you? Just because there's no way Marzia would leave you to suffer. That's not her interest, and she would check.
Yeah, because I would imagine that straight after this, the first place Mara's going to be going is back to camp and being like, let's fuck off out of here. I'm not staying here. So if that works in some way, in the Mara, too many M's. In whatever happens is that Mara is maimed but makes it back to the camp. However, Marzia believes that she is dead in that case, I'm happy with. Whether that's she hears later that Mara showed up and passed out on arrival and just assumes that she's died from the wounds without knowing that she's still alive, whatever that is, I'm happy with that.
I think we've got somewhat of a consensus, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
narrate. So Salastraya bounds towards you. The last thing you see is her teeth flash up in front of your eyes. As Marcia, inside of Salastraya, you sink your teeth into her neck and the side of her face. She goes down in a heartbeat. And it's with that you're almost knocked out of Salastraya, of just the shock and the impact and the hunt. You've hunted a little bit of game with her before, and you're aware of the kind of nature of that, but there's like something subconsciously in the back of your mind that just clings on to the human aspect that this is your daughter-in-law, and it's there's just it kind of just jumps you out of it. And as Salastraya sniffs around and growls, you kneel down. You look over Mara, and she absolutely looks dead. Blood covering her face, as a huge gash, a gouge has been kind of, taken out of the side of her face. And a little drunk on the power and the adrenaline of that moment, and the command and the self-respect that you've gained from that, takes you out of the Godswood and calmly back to the keep. V, you are going to lose your attractive quality.
Mm-hmm.
And you must now permanently reduce one ability score of your choice. From Persuasion, Will, or Status.
Oh, I think taking one from Status would be interesting, because she obviously no longer has any kind of backing with House Greenmont, because she could still always ride on the coattails of her father's name. But it's very clear that's not a thing now.
Bit like Minister without portfolio, she is a lady really kind of without a house. Officially at the moment. Yeah. But caked in your own blood. You blink one eye open, and through the pain and the burning sensation on your face, you crawl to the top of the rocks of the Godswood, so that you don't have to go back towards the keep, and agonizingly over the course of the next couple of hours crawl your way back to the Tarly camp.
I like to think that wherever she ends up, wherever Salastraya leaps at her from and drags her, she ends up beside the sword that someone left at Oliver's grave and picks that up to try and steady herself walking with, because she just can't. It's her anchor, and she just goes for it. And I imagine that's how she arrives at camp later, with this sword in hand, drenched in blood.
Yeah. Absolutely. But it is a new, bright day in the Red Mountains. Marcia, you are awoken by a page who comes in and whispers some exciting news in your ear. Miria, as you are already making your way down to the tourney grounds with Ellery, you hear a distant marching. Footsteps, armoured footsteps, in lockstep with one another. And you can hear, not only from the tourney grounds, but from across the mountains beside you, hooves and the sound of horses blowing their nose, or what is that word? But yeah, kind of
Huffing.
Calls of make way, and the occasional expletive, as the sound of some wheels on this incredibly uneven rocky ground make their way down towards the tawny grounds. Marcia, you rush to the tawny grounds, given this news, put on the back of a horse, side saddle, and guided down to the tawny grounds themselves. By the time you get there, a crowd has already gathered around a huge brown wood and gold carriage that has somehow made it here through the Red Mountains. And you know it's not easy to get not only horses through here, south from the Reach proper, but to get a carriage through here is some feat. But this person has managed to do it somehow. And even though they're late for the tourney, once you arrive, another page enters the carriage, dressed in the red and black of House Targaryen. And out steps a not so tall figure now, slightly stooped in old age. And she regards the crowd around her. But her salt and pepper-ish brown hair, receding slightly, but still done up in a Dornish style, and dressed in an exquisite, thick, gold cloth dress, stands Queen Mariah Targaryen Martell. As a page presents her, heralds her arrival, and she makes her way down the steps of the carriage. I hand over to you guys.
So as she steps down from the carriage, she will look over the crowd that has gathered around the tourney area. She'll note some figures, but then she'll kind of, with grace and what elegance she can give in her olden age, kind of just make her way past the crowd and further into the tourney grounds.
Marcia, how will you have arranged the house? Hearing the news at the keep that the Queen is on her way, from scouts from Hollow Hearts who have seen her on the track over to the east side of the keep, they work their way down here a kind of funny way. People who aren't used to navigating this side of the Red Mountains. And so you while rushing here, you have had a little bit of time to essentially give some instructions, set up a little scene, a la the Starks meeting the Baratheons.
Marcia would have sent out a runner for Prince Maker because this is his mother and he should probably know she's here. So that was like the first thing, was go and tell Prince Maker. The second thing was someone find me Lady Miria. And I think apart from that, she's basically arranged for their best guards to be here. And then she said, oh, and someone tell Leo Tyrell as well. You should probably know. You know, it's kind of like, fine, fuck it, he can come too. And then, you know, generally let the word spread from there. But it was Maker first, then Miria, and then her house. And I think Bryn will have been summoned as part of her house.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So when you, so Ash, when she regards the people who are here, she makes particular note of the people who are presented here in front of her. Now, these are going to obviously be the house that are either hosting the tournament or are the lords and ladies that actually run this part of the Seven Kingdoms for you. And you are expecting from... you'll know for sure from the kind of invitation and the idea that you're coming to this tourney anyway, that this is hosted by House Greenmont. House Greenmont is currently being run. Well, the lord of the house is Lord Bryn, but he is like 5, so it is being run in his stead by Marcia Greenmont, his mother. And then, however Miria is dressed, Miria is also here, lined up with the household. And next to them is Lord Leo Tyrell, a slim figure with some greying blonde hair, and kind of early middle-aged man who is the Lord Paramount of the Reach. Sits up in Highgarden, and isn't really such a kind of strong ally, a present ally at the Red Keep in King's Landing, as, say, Prince Martell is, or the Arryns have been previously. But this is them.
So she will walk towards the people that have lined up to greet her, essentially, and before she gets too close, she'll just stop, and she just kind of lets it sink in that she's there. She lets them understand that she has arrived, and she will look at them each in turn, and her eyes will glide up and down every single member, and she will have a soft smile on her face. She doesn't want to come across as arrogant or cocky, but she has a presence that needs to be known.
Okay.
And once that short period of time, that fleeting moment has passed, is her son there? Has her son arrived?
Yeah. So let me ask for an ability test first, because we can take this out straight out of the intrigue stuff. Oh no, where did recognition go? Come on, new rulebook, don't fail me. Hang on, I'm gonna search for it. Aha! Fab. Alright. So I would like you to make a status test, please. So the difficulty is going to be 12, and you're going to take a penalty equal to people's rank in knowledge. Out of Marcia and Miria, who has the highest knowledge? Not you. Okay.
I don't think either of us have particularly high. Hold on. I'm on the wrong character sheet. Salastray, you're
Mine's
not needed
3.
anymore.
Bad.
Mine is 2, so Miria.
Okay. So, Ash, you're going to take a -3 penalty to the test result.
Yep. Is this a breeding test?
No. This is
Just
a
straight
this
status.
is a status reputation test.
Okay. So I'm -3. Oh no, that's penalty dice. No.
Yeah, not that.
So that's an 18.
Okay, so that is 2 degrees of success. Okay, so you get to decide. Let me just check. You get to improve or worsen opponents' dispositions towards you.
Oh, improve.
Seeing as you've been like eyeing people up and down, as well as just letting it sink in that you're here, would you like to improve both Marcia and Miria's disposition towards you, or would you like to worsen one of them?
I would like to improve them because
Okay.
she's come here for a reason. And even though she has to show off her status, and obviously people need to be aware that she's there, she's there for a reason, and she wants to improve relations with them for now.
Okay. So, Charlie, Susie, your disposition towards well, think about what your original disposition might be, particularly maybe Miria, and then improve them by 2. Yeah, and she is arrived.
She's the queen. Why would you not love the queen?
Exactly. So yeah, after she's kind of eyed everyone up and down, she will head straight over to her youngest child and greet him warmly.
Okay. So,
You there licking the hanky and wiping Maker's cheek?
Oh God, no! She's like
Yeah.
slapping him around the face and telling him to buck the fuck up.
So you see Maekar Targaryen get slapped. This is a kind of 6-foot, like, built guy, properly athletic and knightly, and you just seen this old lady slap him in the face, just gently. But yeah, Maekar is your second-born son. Has the white hair and beard of the Targaryens for its silver hair, and I believe the purple eyes. That is typical of them. Baelor, your eldest, takes after you with dark hair and dark eyes, but Maekar is and looks everything that a Targaryen should be in the eyes of people's assumptions.
And what she'll do is she'll kind of use him like a cane. But kind of disguise it with sort of like a family and motherly affection, where she'll kind of lean upon his arm. But he will definitely feel that her weight is slightly more upon him than what she wants it to appear to be.
Marcia, you noticed that in particular. She, by your knowledge and estimation, is probably in her late 50s. And yet she's quite frail. Even in like pseudo-medieval fantasy world of premature death, she is looking fairly frail.
And then she will lead her son, even though she is the one leaning on him, to greet those who have put together such a splendid tourney.
Okay, so this is where I do my Greg impression. So Maekar brings you, without cracking a smile at any point, he brings you up to who he introduces as in Valyrian, because they're all you are speaking High Valyrian, and so it's he. My queen. May I introduce Lady Marcia Greenmont?
Marcia, low curtsy, eyes properly adjusted.
His lordship, Lord Bryn Greenmont. You will know his brother, perhaps, from my court. He motions behind him, and standing there with a king's guard and one of your probably a few of your grandsons, and I think it's just grandsons at the moment.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think canonically. Stands a boy who looks the spitting image of the little boy standing in front of you. Just has messier hair, and looks at you a little bit more understandingly than the small boy that stood in front of you, who, by your estimation, is looking at everything. Fearful, if anything. Her daughter-in-law, Lady Miria Greenmont.
There's a curtsy. It's not as low as Marcia's.
Okay.
I'm being polite.
Be more polite.
No.
There's a psychic look between the two ladies in front of you, I'm sure.
Wait, imagine as we're both still like bowed, waiting to be told we can stand up straight. Marcia's looking at her like fucking lower.
Giving it the mum look like fucking better not show me up.
Yeah, for sure.
We still haven't discussed yesterday, young lady.
So kind of when she gets to the line, she will give each member in turn a soft and kind of warming smile on her kind of olden, like slightly frailed, slightly kind of wrinkled face. Please rise. Let us get on with the tourney. I do love a good fight.
As does everyone in the mountains, Your Grace.
If you could lead the way, my lady.
Of course. Marcia will kind of have Bryn in front of her, hands on either shoulder, steering the child, and lead the queen to the box, which Enzo, I imagine, have put in specific instructions that the forget-me-nots should be refreshed every day. And if you can't find forget-me-nots, find cornflowers or anything else blue that is of a floral persuasion. And the silks have been slightly adjusted. So for Ash, this is a kind of carved royal box, kind of like a theatre situation, but it's all carved up with the forget-me-not, which are the 5-petaled flower, small flower, and it's wrapped in blue silks, Dornish silks, with sprigs and sprays of flowers coming out of it.
Yes, and she'll look around the area with not. She kind of nods. She's like, "Yeah, this will do. This is okay." And she finds her seat and she just gestures you to sit down next to her.
Another Kingsguard, who I'm going to get the name of totally now that I totally prepared, is with her at the royal box, shadows her throughout. I'm going to find one.
Oh wait, I don't think the silk would be blue. It probably is in Greenmont colors and like green, gold, and white, but close enough.
Willem Wild? What do you reckon, Susie? We got Gawain Corbray, Donald the Duskendale, Willem Wild, and Roland Crakehall. Who was at Summerhall? Because it
was Crakehall.
Was it Crakehall? As I don't
Yeah.
think it can be. I don't think it can be him.
No, Wild seems good.
Willem
Wild
Wild.
sounds good.
Willem Wild. Ash, you can flavour as much as you like who Willem Wild is. I don't think we know who he is. Oh, let me just check the wiki.
Well, he's a
have no idea.
bastard. I would imagine.
Okay. I want someone to roll me some kind of knowledge check because this is actually quite juicy.
Okay, let me do it.
Let's see.
Knowledge.
Oh, actually, I'll roll it too. Marcy's been to court. I'm less likely to succeed, but
We'll probably all roll.
10.
Why not?
13.
Very nice.
Okay.
Let's
Um.
16.
So Susie, the history of Willem Wild is that I mean he is a knight of House Wild, and that is in the Stormlands. That matters little to him now, obviously, bearing the white cloak. But when a place opened up on the Kingsguard, was it Aegon the Fourth? The current king's father, had promised Sir Quinton Ball that he would be raised as a Kingsguard. This is Daeron II's replacement for that place. Yeah, so Willem Wild with an EM. Thanks, George.
That's a juicy choice.
This is your man. Yeah. And he shadows the queen perfectly.
Marcia sits beside, as prompted by Her Majesty, Her Grace, with Bryn in her lap, because she's technically in Bryn's seat, I imagine.
Mhm.
She will not be moved from that seat now for the rest of the tourney. not physically, I mean, but that's now her place.
Yes, that's now her seat.
Top-ranking individual to attend the tourney.
Marcia, sorry, go ahead, Ash.
So, as she sees that you place the child in your lap, she'll kind of just slyly kind of gesture to one of her attendants, and they'll bring over a drink that she herself has had prepared, and a small kind of wooden box. She will carefully open up the lid, and inside it's just filled with kind of small little, like, Westeros kind of King's Landing sweets.
Is this your Werther's box, Gran?
Which she will kind of offer to the child.
And Marcia will kind of prompt Bryn to say something nice to her Grace and say thank you afterwards.
And then she'll just place kind of the box down on the side next to him. So it's kind of like free. He can take freely.
Nice. Okay. Are there any intrigues you want to do here, Ash, with Marcia, as you've got her? Did you want to just chill and watch the tourney?
I think at first she would like to kind of settle and watch the tourney. She's had a very long and kind of juttery journey. She needs to kind of rest her weary bones. But definitely during, she would like to start an intrigue with Marcia.
Okay. Just checking something. Marcia.
Yes.
When any test that you choose, a single test today, is related to the Queen, you get +1 dice.
Okay. Single test, +1 dice.
From your green site.
I see. Okay, that's interesting. Good to know.
It's starting to click now, huh?
Yep.
Fab. Okay. Then I think in terms of environmental qualities, let's say for Ash's environmental quality, she's the queen. She'll go first in this intrigue. She has the seat. What's the one environmental quality you want to introduce, Charlie? Like, you've got Bryn here. He's maybe some kind of assistance. This is your tourney. Maybe that's some kind of assistance for you. Could help you with DR. Could help you with an ability check, something like that.
Yeah, I think it's Bryn in her lap. They're both the mothers to 2 sons. And obviously, I don't know the Queen's actual disposition towards her children, but she seems fairly generous so far towards children. So yeah, I'll use Bryn as a little assist boy.
I think Bryn is going to give you he's not himself actively effective at helping you.
He could be a distraction child.
I think I will give you a +1 to ensure intrigue defense.
Okay.
Because there is a child here, and there are some things you just don't talk about.
Yeah.
When children are around, like politically and such, I think. So yeah.
Yeah, because he could just say it to anyone.
Yeah.
You all laughed when I said that 5-year-olds were chatty Cathys, but here we are.
Cool. Okay. So first round of the intrigue. Consider dispositions towards each other. Consider an objective that you might have. These can obviously evolve and stuff as we go on, and I'll help introduce rules and stuff as we go. But Ash, as you want to make the first move, consider the technique that you want to use out of your persuasion specialties, first of all. You too, Charlie, and then we can play the exchange in terms of role play, and then I'll ask for actions when we're ready.
I need my cheat sheet. Go.
I love the Westeros Weathers originals.
Yeah, totally. She's a total granny.
I now wish I had like stress candy.
When you said she opens this little box of tin, the picture in my mind immediately went to biscuit tin with sewing kit inside. Like immediately.
See, I went somewhere else, and I'm just really glad it was sweets in this box.
See,
Yes.
I went Narnia Turkish Delight Ice Queen. Because
Oh,
that's how little I distrust.
oh, the pain. The pain, Susie.
Sorry, Ash.
Okay. Yeah. In terms of the actual exchange and roleplay, like Ash, you don't have to start talking first, but you all take the first action when you feel it's appropriate. But just think of your technique, and you guys can roleplay the exchange as you like.
I think what she will do is she'll kind of give herself time to settle. Obviously she's had that long journey, she's quite tired. She'll want to kind of look around the tourney grounds to see how well it's been put on, given her background. She's very interested in the combat and the skills and specialities and the show that she's going to be witness to, and she wants to kind of make sure that it's all been done properly, and with style. So I think she'll kind of start to she'll look around and she'll kind of consider, but she'll remain quiet for a while.
Okay. Then is there anything you want to do with this opportunity then, Charlie?
So I imagine as she watches the queen look around, Marzia will seek a good moment to interject a thought, not wanting to actually interrupt her checking things out, but an opportunity to add something. My grandmother complained the roads were most unkind when she visited a few years ago, and I'm afraid you missed the archery yesterday. It was quite the contest. Contest, she says it properly, unlike me, who turned it into 2 separate syllables.
Yes, it was a rather difficult journey, but not one I can overcome, I must say. It's such a shame that I missed part of the tourney. Tell me, what were the highlights?
Well, we began with archery. It's a tradition here. There's the men's and then the ladies. An opportunity for our huntresses from Dawn and elsewhere in the mountains to show off their prowess. It was most exciting, and I've already forgotten who won, and I don't have it in a note in front of me. But I'm pretty sure it was a Dornish woman.
Rightly so.
And I must say, I was very pleased when one of our house was successful in the men's. At least until Sir Samwell had a lucky shot.
I don't believe I know this Sir Samwell. What sort of lucky shot are we talking about?
Well, from what I understand, he's a very violent individual, so perhaps it's more practice than luck.
I see.
He's the son of the Lord Tarly.
Ah. Well, I must say, I was quite surprised to hear this tourney happening, but I'm very glad that there have been some exciting things that have happened already. If only it was for the first few days. I hope I have arrived just in time for the highlights of the main event, shall we say.
I believe you are about to see the highlights indeed. I had a change of heart at the beginning of the tourney. Originally, we'd planned for 5 champions in advance, but I felt it better that such a title were earned. This is meant to represent the Southern Kingdoms, and our part is part of the 7 kingdoms, and everyone from each of the kingdoms should have the chance to prove themselves a worthy knight.
That is a noble gesture indeed, but one that can be quite tricky, should we say.
There were some concerns, but I believe actions and skill will contribute towards our understanding of who is worthy.
But we all know that behind tourneys it's not just action and skill.
I had a very interesting conversation with His Grace yesterday. He reminded me that everything is a test, and failures should be noted.
Do you feel tested?
Every day, Your Grace.
Do you feel like you have failed?
No, Your Grace, I do not.
Then you are a woman indeed. And you
I
should strive to be better, even though you haven't failed yet.
Of course. What we hope to achieve is a difficult and hard-won thing. But it is the right thing, Your Grace. Unity under the king.
The right thing for what people, though? That is what you have to try and convince.
For the loyal and dutiful of the Seven Kingdoms.
Of course. But you wouldn't have to convince the loyal and the dutiful, would we?
Unfortunately, in my experience, they can be hard to find. But I do believe the loyal and the dutiful exist and will be proven.
Well, time and history shall tell of that. But it is noble indeed. You are a brave woman, I must say, and I commend you for this act of bravery, given the tricky and treacherous path ahead. It is not, well, we all know that there isn't an exact cohesion between the households that are gathered here. How do you wish to amend and build a bridge between that division?
I have been taking this opportunity to meet with people I would have chance little to do so otherwise. And I have been seeking out those who would sow disinterest, apathy, or worse, dissent and violence, giving opportunity to prove themselves in a safer arena. I am not foolish enough to believe this will be it, that everything can be solved here, but things can be begun here. And people will show themselves. And I watch for those who are unfaithful as alertly as I watch for those who are dutiful.
I just hope that you don't stretch yourself too far, nor give promises that you may not be able to keep and cause more unrest and create a bigger divide.
My queen, do you have some advice for me?
Well, depending what you want to achieve exactly, there are many ways to which you can do this. I am glad to see that you understand that this is just a step in the right direction. But you need to make sure that you build allies quickly, but firmly, a strong foundation to continue your conquest for peace, for bridging the divide. And allies in strong places can get you quite far. Make sure you consider those who you believe to be trustworthy as your closest confidants.
That is something I have considered most deeply of late. Perhaps your grace could offer some advice as to a worthy ally that I might seek to avoid the chaff.
I'm sure I can come up with some names.
I would appreciate it, your grace, although I hope not to distract you too much from your enjoyment of the tournament.
Oh no, don't worry. I am a woman after all. Not like these men who can only think about one thing at once. We have to be better, even though in some cases we are left in the shadows. But sometimes the shadows are the best place to be, because who would ever expect a butterfly?
All right, you
Thanks,
keep
Your
you
Grace.
keep your considered dice, Charlie. You got your action. What do you want to do?
Marcia's trying to charm the queen with her loyal, dutiful servant presentation.
Cool. Alright.
She's not seeking to convince her of anything, just charm.
Yeah, for sure. Roll me that charm check.
11. It's not a specialty.
Oof.
Oh, actually, I will add my +1 dice to my intrigue. Can I do that, Sam? I just remembered I had it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. You get to add it to this one test, and then that's gone.
That's why I'm doing it now, so I don't forget about it later, because I've got other things. So that'll be a 14 in total.
Ash, does that equal or beat your intrigue defense?
Nope.
No. Okay. Fab. All right. New round. Think of new techniques. You can pick the same technique if you like, and then you can take your actions. And first role play out this the exchange. If you don't want to get too into it, equally you can kind of describe what you're doing in terms of the flow of conversation, and then we can roll as well.
It was announced at the tournament, Your Grace, that my daughter is to be betrothed to the young Ellery Peak, his lordship.
I see.
It did cause quite the stir, although we did expect it.
Expect it in a good or a bad way.
With the taking of the house across the mountains by Lord Peak, with the assistance of Lord Maker, His Grace, the Prince Maker, following such treacherous actions by the house, there is some upset in Dawn. Even though it was 5 years ago, and I can understand it. There has been bickering over this border and houses of it for as long as there has been a border. And there has been encroachment by Reacher Lords, more often than not. Encroachment that Leo Tyrell has failed to do anything about. And I'm afraid I've heard little from your brother, the Prince Martell, in this regard either. It seems both would set the border alight and let it burn to see who comes out on top.
How am I not surprised?
My fear is that in a civil war, it would be the small folk who are eradicated, not the blood feuds being squabbled over. It was at Blackmont that more than once the small folk were used as a buffer between threat and the castle. This is why the Lord had to be removed. He was not fit.
And with this marriage alliance, what do you wish to achieve? What is your exact goal? I
Miria
assume you're bringing this up for some form of support.
More advice, Your Grace. Miria is half Dornish. Her mother was the Lady Elise Blackmont. I forgot her name very briefly, it's fine. My husband's prior wife tragically died at Miria's birth. It was my hope that such a marriage could mend the wound, an appropriately Dornish lady of the house. Emiria is strong and gifted in a number of regards that would suit the position well. There was, however, concerns, and I did reach out to a Dornish lord and quietly suggested that he make me a better offer if he had one.
And did he?
Not that I have heard yet. I was interested whom he might suggest. We appear to be in a drought as summer ends of eligible prospects. And poor things come of a woman left waiting. Particularly one as driven and as gifted as my daughter. I do not think these halls could hold her much longer.
And this is why women need to gain more power. In Dawn, we can rule. In Dawn, we have the same rights as men. But yet here, over here, they believe they are better. They believe they are superior.
'Tis just as well, your grace, that the butterfly lingers in the shadows of the Red Keep, then. It is no doubt your influence that has brought us such peace and prosperity.
Though my influence has partially been quashed. That needs to be rectified.
The arrival of your brother in King's Landing.
The arrival of a stale man in a stale position doing stale actions.
I would like to retarget as she says this, because Marcy is like, if this isn't a trap, I really need to keep talking to this lady.
Okay. Ash, first of all, what is your action?
I want to kind of convince Marcia that she needs to get me on side, and if she does, she owes me. So kind of.
So this isn't a charm. This is a convince you need me as an ally.
Yeah, this is a
Okay.
bitch. Look where I am. I can get you places, but you need to do something for me later on down the line.
Susie, is that Werther's original? Oh my god.
Yes.
Amazing.
She's got the props.
Yeah, we will have a prop. Okay. Ash, you want to make your persuasion test or
Yes.
deception if you're doing that.
So I get a +1d to that. So I need to. Oh no, I did that wrong.
Incidentally, there is very little chance that I can retarget on Ash, but I'm trying not to play the meta.
It's passive deception, which might not be that high for her. You never know.
That didn't add a. How do I add an extra dice?
Just
I did that wrong.
If you hover over the little D20 symbol on the top left, you can just click a D6 and it will roll another D6.
No, I forgot to add the extra bonus dice.
Yeah, just roll another dice, Ash.
Oh, from the consider?
Yeah. So I need to add an extra dice and an extra 2 bonus dice.
Okay, so roll 3d6 for me. You can type /roll and then space 3d6. So we've got a 4, a 3, and a 3. The other result is... so we're going to add the 4 to it to make it 19. And then the 3 and the 3 don't add any extras because you've already dropped 2s and 1s.
I would like to add a tiny bit of context really quickly and say that Marzia sent Miria to basically make things more ready now that the Queen's here, like alert more people. And so it makes sense that Miria's not here yet, but she may come back so Susie can join the scene.
Makes sense. Sure. Okay. So that is a 19 against your intrigue defense.
That is 2 degrees.
Okay. So 2 times your will.
That's 10.
Okay.
10 composure damage. All right.
Minus DR.
Minus your DR, of course. Yep. You're probably 1 DR.
My probably 1 DR.
Remember your little +1 intrigue to your intrigue defense from.
Yes. Yeah. That's already on my sheet.
Fab. Cool. So, I want you to roll for me awareness empathy test. And Ash, this is going to be against your passive deception.
Do I have any dice on screen?
You don't, and I don't think...
Okay, cool.
I think you spent them...
yeah, I think I did. I just wanted to check because I can't see them.
Is this my passive awareness?
Deception.
Passive deception. So it's your deception rank times 4.
Okay, yeah.
Is that equal or beat it?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't think that was a chance, but not playing the meta.
You hear her words, but you've got no other little clues or hints or anything about what she's about. So, new round, new techniques if you want them. Ash, you can improve or worsen your disposition towards Marzia by 1 step, your choice, because you won't influence that round. If you change your objective, please let me know, either of you, because that means that the other's composure will be healed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Can I kind of keep it where I am? Because I feel like she hasn't really proven anything to me yet.
Of course you can. Susie, you've got any destiny points? I'll let you spend.
I've got 1 left.
I'll let you spend 1 to enter the scene.
Oh, I've got 2. Yeah, sure, let's do it.
Okay. Miria arrives a little flustered, but she is here. Please, I'll pop you last just because we've got a clear order of importance sat around the thing. So yeah, hop in. What pew? You have heard nothing so far?
No, but Miria arrives and she bows politely. But she's kind of holding the Queen's look, like she's a Martell, and but she keeps up that air of politeness as she comes in and takes a seat, not next to them, but maybe a little bit lower down, but sort of turns so she's there in the.
It's a kind of family style.
I think
royal
Marzia
box.
would extend as Miria is taking a seat and wave her to come and sit with them because Marzia wants
she
you.
would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
This is like the equivalent of the dais in the Great Hall. Like, you're one of the eligible people to sit here.
Oh yeah, but there's the Queen up there. Miria's being.
Yeah, she didn't want to like just sit down and join the.
Yeah, right. It's a
being
bit
invited.
presumptuous to sit next to the Queen without being invited.
Yeah, no, Marzia would give you the nod to join.
Lady Marzia, Your Grace, brother, and she sort of winks at Bren.
Sister.
And Miria's just going to take a seat and just listen.
Miria, you've arrived at a good moment. Your Grace, are you certain that violence does not make you uncomfortable?
I'm going to let you look at me and then think about that question.
Miria, I would like you to recount for Her Grace the incident at House Ironwood.
And Miria's face is like, what?
In detail.
Are you quite sure?
Yes. Her Grace's time is important and I would not waste it.
Well, and she begins to recount from Ironwood, from the arrival of Marin Martell. And then he had me seized and beaten, taken to his ship. And he stood me on deck and forced me watch as he fired scorpion bolts at Castle Ironwood, at his own men, at Ironwood men, at good men. And then he and she like looks her right in the eyes as she says this. He took me by the throat, and he enjoyed and reveled in the fact that he was about to kill me, and threw me overboard. That was the last I saw of Prince Marin Martell.
And as you recount this story, the Queen's face kind of doesn't change. There's kind of a sort of sadness, not in the way that she kind of pities you or anything, but in the fact that, yeah, that's her brother. That's the man who took her throne from her in Dawn. And that's what Dawn has now become, his image. And there's no sort of flinching in her face to the gruesome kind of descriptions that you give. It was as if that kind of those were expected. And she would just simply sit there, move her hand to the box, pick up a sweet and pop it in her mouth.
Might I add to the account, Your Grace?
Of course.
The Lord Horatio Ironwood, although entitled to his position, is not deserving nor worthy of it. It had been my intention to marry Oliver. He was exiled by your brother, the result of some duel, I believe. And it was our intention to restore Ironwood so that Dawn might be stronger. And Horatio was aware of such a thing. Not a surprise. And during a tournament, attempted to poison Sir Oliver to prevent any attempt he might make for the house. And indeed, Oliver was to make an attempt. And it would not have been a treacherous one, but one due of loyalty and pride in what Dawn could be. And it was all taken away. And still Horatio sits and indulges in the wealth of that place. And watches as the reaches do march south into Dawn unstopped.
What if there was another way?
Marcy's completely confused. Like, we've got the queen here. She's gonna fix it. What? Like, that's the face. She literally is like, I was in the middle of a stream of eloquent words in High Valyrian that I have long practiced. And I think she turns to look to Maria and says, what, Maria? Like, but in common, because she just flicks into her, like, native tongue.
What if there's another that could take House Ironwood and remove that poisonous influence?
Perhaps, Your Grace, swapping back to High Valyrian, we could continue such a conversation after you've enjoyed a little of the tournament.
I would very much appreciate that. We have come here to enjoy ourselves, after all. And I would be more than glad to have you, charming fresh ladies beside me.
Her Grace described how she would like to see more power in the women of Westeros, Maria. And how
Seems we're of a like
tired
mind.
we all are of the weak leadership we have experienced. At least here in the South, Your Grace.
We start here. Stepping stones, as you said.
May we not trip.
Oh, my dear, we wear heels, we never trip. We stamp.
I think
It's
Maria
with your grace.
smiles at this. She's kind of like, okay, I'm picking up what she's putting down.
I admit defeat. I'm in love with this woman. I will marry her. I'm single. If you want to ditch your hubby, go.
What I got there was like
a femme crush right now.
what I
She's
got-
here for it.
I got there was like kind of yielded,
Sold.
compromised.
Sold.
We'll talk about this later for sure.
Later. Yeah.
Outcome. Yeah, if you, okay, cool. Yielding is that compromised outcome. So what from the two of you, what are the two things you want to compel the other to do a little bit of?
I want to compel Her Grace to meet with us later for the possible destruction of Leo Tyrell, Horatio Ironwood, and the Prince Marin Martell. Thank you.
Ash, what's a little bit of the compel that would you like Marcia to be compelled to do a little bit of? It's just a short-term thing, small consequence.
So she wants to see, to make Marcia see her as a strong ally and one that she will do favors for in the future.
Yeah, cool. I don't think
Or
you have
who
to
will
actually
work closely with.
Would you like my daughter, Maria? She's great.
I don't think.
I think she's right on board with your plan. She's really good with a spear. Hold on, here you go. Bow.
Yeah, I don't think you have to actually convince Charlie of that.
No, I did it in real life.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so I think like to shorten the compel for Marcia, I think she wants to be taken seriously though, like not just as a patsy and what other scheme is going on. Like Marcia is a serious woman, not just an easy convince.
Well, you kind of have the ear of Maekar as well. So I can.
I'm besties with your son.
Yeah, so I can imagine that they're like she has been mentioned, you know. Yeah, cool. All right, let's just whiz away a little bit from the camp, the glades of the actual tournament to the edge of woods. And Mara, standing and supporting yourself with this sword, you are edging further and further towards the Tarly camp now that it's just that bit closer in your vision. You can see it as it's morning. The bleeding has stopped, the blood is dry, but you still feel disgusting. And you are stumbling further and further towards camp when you hear the whistle and shouts of trappers and falconers. You can even hear the barking of dogs behind you. What would you like to do? Oh, you're muted. So it's been ages, I know. Sorry.
One day I won't do that. One day. I think at this point she is so tired. I don't think she's even thinking about the fact that she can hear people or dogs. At this moment, she knows two things. Marcia wanted her dead, and she has to get back to Samwell. That is it. Because she now understands that there is a target on her, which means there's a target on him, and they don't need to be here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that she just ignores the sound of the dogs, the sound of the people, and she just keeps going for the camp, which I imagine at this point is probably bigger than when she left it. So there's a part of her that's confused. There's all these extra tents.
It's Harley colours too.
Yeah, and she doesn't. I think in her mind she understands that clearly something has happened in the time she's been away, but it's not her focus. She just wants to get back to Samwell. That's it. That's all she's doing. She has his sword and she's just pushing to get there.
Around your periphery, pads a dog that comes sniffing around and actually is low to the ground, starts facing off and growling at you as it stares down at you, and this blood that's down your front and on your face. What do you do?
I think it's clear that Mara can't just get past the dog if it is.
I think stood in front of you and it's like holding its ground essentially. You've got a sword in hand, or you could try something else.
I think that's what she does in the thing of this is a thing in my way, and I think she steadies herself for a second, keeping her eyes locked with the dog.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as she feels that she can stand on both feet and take her weight off of this sword that she's been using like a cane, I think she draws it. And she's never really had to swing a sword. I know that like when Don and I have talked about their backstory, there was a point where she got caught trying to pick up his greatsword because she didn't understand how any man could swing a sword that size. And he tried to teach her how to swing it. She wasn't very good at it. So I think that in that moment, she tries to draw on that memory of like, how do I hold this? You know, how is my stance? And it's between that she's in agony and she just wants to get past this fucking dog. She doesn't actually want to kill it. She's just hoping that, you know, it'll threaten it or something. It's all she can think to do.
I'm high-key loving the juxtaposition we're seeing that she's like this from what we've seen so far. But yeah, sorry. So roll me agility quickness. As I have to use the stats from a book rather than from the...
I'm going to use one of my bonus dice. Because I like to think that although she is completely exhausted, that this is like she's got to get back to Samwell. It's that adrenaline rush. Sure. Bonus dice. 5.
A 9. Okay, so the dog goes for a bite. Actually goes in to try and grab your arm as you start to pull at the sword. I think it has a kind of instinct to then go for the arm. So this is 3 dice. An 11 versus your combat defense.
Yeah, my combat defense is 7.
1 degree, 3 damage.
I don't know what my health would be at because like it got reduced to 0 when I was defeated.
Top.
Oh, okay.
It's like stress; it comes right back.
Yeah, it grabs her, and I think she manages to hold on to that sword, but she's really not sure what to do at this point. She was hoping that this wouldn't have occurred, that it was just a hold off. And I think in the back of her mind, she realizes that if there's a dog, there's people. Like that now becomes an important factor. And I think she just screams out for somebody to call off the dog.
Mm-hmm.
As she's trying to, because she now can't use the sword because it's gone for that hand.
You know, like, and as you're struggling, you like wheel around. It's partly the dog, and then it like in the kerfuffle, and it's partly you looking around for somebody. You see figures blurry just a few yards away from you who are whistling and calling for the dog, and kind of vague shouts echoing around the woods of who is that, what's going on.
I think she just like if when she calls out to call off the dog, she can hear people like actively wondering what's going on. I think she just screams as loud as she possibly can, like as loud as she can muster in the state that she's in.
Sure. You don't see any colors particularly on these people, but then from behind you, you hear a commanding voice drive these men to stop and stand down. You don't quite hear the words, but just that tone and tenor drives through your mind, and as the dog is still ripping and pulling at your arm, another sword is swung by your side, and you catch the glint of it and the blood spray up into the air, and you turn, and now with the dog no longer fighting you, you turn and see, would it be a familiar face, or has her journey with Samwell been kind of fairly away from Hornhill and the family?
She is definitely, I mean, he's been at Fox Hollow because he was there way back when, so they have met before briefly. I think she has been at Hornhill, because I can't imagine that they have managed to keep up this friendship and do all the travel that they had done without one of them stepping foot in the other. So, and presumably at least there has been no massive disagreement yet.
Sure.
So she knows who this is.
You see the now more bearded face of Samwell's father, Sir Glendon, standing with his ancestral sword clasped in both hands.
I think that's the first thing that Mara looks at, is this sword that has put an end to this poor dog's life that was only trying to do what it was trained to do. And she recognizes Heartsbane. She's been at Hornhill. She has seen it when it has been put on display over the hearth there. Samwell has talked to her about it at length, about this sword and how much she likes it and how much she cannot wait to wield it. And I think before she even looks up at Glendon Tarly, she recognizes that sword and immediately knows who it is. And I think she's on the floor in a mess. She's still in her tawny dress from the day before. And I think she just reaches out to grab at something, whether it's the side of his, like the top of his doublet, just something.
And you do, yeah. And he pulls one hand away from the sword hilt, and he holds you up from underneath the arm as you reach out, and he just asks, "Mara?"
And she's in floods of tears now, and I think if he helps her up, she just grabs to him because he's the nearest person there. And I think the first thing that comes out of her mouth is just, "Where is Samwell?"
And in this embrace, he is almost whispering to you as you feel people from his side moving forward towards these trappers, but you don't quite hear, you don't quite comprehend the standoff that is taking place. But he does whisper in your ear that he's taken to the Tawny grounds. He's due to fight.
And I think at that she kind of pulls back a little. No, he can't. You have to send someone for him. He's not safe. We have to leave. Are you here with a host?
I'm here with my men. All right, let's get you to the camp first.
You don't understand.
He starts to pull you towards the camp as you're, I think carrying on with this, like repeating this, like, yeah. And it's not quite, he's not quite figuring it out, but
she's just like in down and fits of tears in between,
like, clean you up.
Yeah. But she will go with him, and she is shaking and a mess, but I think that there is a sense of like she is among somebody that she knows that is not hostile to her. At least she hopes he's not. And she desperately wants to tell him a few things because they're not safe. That's the only thing she can think about.
Once you finally get back to the tent, he sits you in Samwell's tent, and he gets you water in a skin. He has some of his men attend you in order to help start kind of cleaning you up, and they get bandages that have been soaked in water to start trying to clean up the blood and to take a look at the.
I think
it's not like a court physician, but he's brought someone who could help with like bruises and stuff, just in case of like tawny accidents and that.
I think there comes a point where, like, once she's been cleaned up a bit and they start dressing the wounds, she very pointedly tells him that she doesn't want him to call for another healer yet. She doesn't want anyone to know the state that she's in outside of this camp.
Why, Mara? What happened?
And I think she waits until everybody else leaves the room, because it's Game of Thrones and everybody knows when they should leave the room.
Oh no, he totally does a presidential give us the room and they all just like leave.
And I think to some degree she continues to, you know, bandage herself a little bit where she can, where they've kind of stopped midway. You are not safe here. Samwell is not safe here.
Why?
Marzia tried to have me murdered.
Who did this to you? Her guards?
Her cat. That beast is loyal to her. I don't know how, but she commands it. That shadow cat. I have seen it. I lived here with her. It obeys every word, every action. I wanted to meet her to tell her something. I saw one of my brothers and I was worried. She asked me to meet her in the Godswood. And then she sent that thing out of the shadows at me. I don't know, after it attacked, when I finally woke up, they were gone. Maybe she thought I was dead. I had to take the long way back to this camp. It's taken me all night.
Oh.
She is so bitter about what happened here. Not just to me, to your son as well. And if he's at the tourney grounds, he needs to leave. This whole camp needs to leave. And she just puts her head in her hands and she's crying again for a second before she kind of takes a deep breath. I don't know what it is, but I don't know why she wants me dead. I've tried to explain. I didn't know what happened that night, that everything went so horribly wrong here. And I know Samwell was there too. And I believe he regrets that deeply, but she doesn't. She called him a killer. I'm her daughter. She sits in my father's seat and she would have me murdered for something I had nothing to do with. What do you think she's going to do to him? On a tourney ground in a melee. One sword that's not blunted, that's all it would take.
While accidents do happen at a melee, do you think she would do such a thing in front of so many people?
I don't know. If you'd have asked me yesterday, I would have said no. But she tried to have me murdered in the Godswood. My lord, I care very deeply about your son. If I'm honest with you, I know there have been rumors. I know it was said about the trip that we took. I know all of these things. I care very deeply about him. He was the only person there when my world fell to pieces after what Alistair did. And I'm done apologising for Alistair's mistakes, but I regret so deeply that Samwell ever got caught up in the ridiculous schemes that man had. I don't know where to go after this, because I cannot go back to Oakheart. Not after what he did to my family. He caused so much damage that my own stepmother would try to have me killed. And I cannot come back to Greenmont. She as good as told me that name does not belong to me anymore.
Does she believe you dead?
Perhaps. And I think at this point, I imagine they're sitting face to face. I think she takes his hand. I don't know how you feel about me. You were always kind to me when I was at Horn Hill, and when I arrived before we went off on our trip. I don't know what you think of me. I don't know what you think of the rumors. But I care about your son. I love your son. I'm asking you if you would please take me in. He has looked after me, and I care for him. My marriage to Alistair is dead after what he did. I have no family anymore. I climbed down from that God's wood. And I think she vaguely points in a direction because she knows the Godswood's got elevation. And I mean, it's clear that all of Greenmont has elevation because everything's built into the side of the mountains.
Mm.
I climbed down from the Godswood with the last of what I had to get here, to try and make sure that she doesn't try to hurt him too, even if it killed me. And I think she's basically trying to tell him that she loves Samwell, and that she doesn't just want to be taken in for protection. She wants to be accepted as perhaps something more.
Just for time, I'm going to treat this as a simple intrigue. So I'd like you to roll for me with a normal persuasion test for you. And then I've got a intrigue defense calculated here.
Cool. Is there anything? I know she's lost the attractive quality. I don't know what anything else. Did she gain maimed?
So maimed
Did it
means
cancel out?
Maimed means that you should have reduced one of your ability scores by
okay.
1 permanently.
Cool.
That,
yeah, that
we
was
did
that was
right?
status. Yeah, that was status.
There we go. That's what that does.
Cool. In which case, I'm gonna roll. Wait, do I have dice? I have to look in the Twitch overlay.
You've got 3.
You've got 3.
You had 2 because of the dog quickness test, and then James gave you another bonus dice.
Oh, yay. Okay, in which case I'm going to use 2 of those bonus dice for this. 21 with 1 crit, I think.
Yeah. So you win the simple intrigue. It will take you in. How would you want them to close off the scene?
I think I would like it if it was kind of clear that he accepted that Mara wasn't just asking for somewhere to stay. She was definitely pushing that her marriage is over, and that she would do anything to protect Samwell because she knows how much he loves his son. Samwell would have spoken to her about him, and she's seen it in person when she's been at Horn Hill. And I think she's pushing the fact that like she climbed back half dead, not to get herself help, but to make sure that Samwell wasn't murdered at the camp. And yeah, she's slowly pushing for that. Hey, maybe I could be more than a friend to your son.
Yeah, and in that kind of familial parents always know kind of way, I think he's like, I always had my suspicions. But I think he would embrace her. And I don't think he says welcome to the family, but I'm trying to think of like the seven teach us never to let go a child of the mother in need.
I think Mara would finish up once that embrace is over, and despite the fact that she's totally fucked, like she's still drenched in blood, and I think she just looks at him and says, "Your sigil is the hunter, and I will not let myself or your son be prey again." And I think that in her words, that is a commitment to him. Like if you are accepting me as perhaps something like family for your son, if you're going to accept the fact that I love him, then this is my commitment to you, that I will fight for your son and your house.
Right.
First in battle.
Yeah.
To die.
We smash cut into another round of the melee. Miria, you are lined up with your unfamous bunch of goodly knights of the three kingdoms that are presented here. Again, a mix of Stormlander, Reacher, Dornish knights. And directly across from you, another group more. Directly across from your position, your kind of easiest opponent to navigate towards. It's wearing the golden tree of Golden Grove. Standing tall and wide in his brigandine armor is Sir Orton of Golden Grove. Lady Rowan's cohort and confidant. This is going to be our showdown in your next round of the melee. Speaking in the meta, this could put you through into the final. All right. So roll that agility quickness test for me and take minus your armor penalty. On that, please.
It's a 13, then minus the armor penalty.
Why is his so garbage? Oh! Pope has donated you, I believe, a test dice.
Oh!
Is it Fiver? Is it a Fiver, Susie? I can never remember.
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to go to our own Twitch
Yeah, I
page
think it's
now.
3 for a bonus, 5 for a test.
Yeah, just the bits are different, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, bits are random, crazy amounts.
All right. I think that was a Miria test die. I'm gonna put it in, and if it's not, correct me in chat. All right. Lush. Okay, I mean he got a 2 because his armor penalty. So from that 16, you need to minus your armor penalty.
Yes, 13.
Well. 13. Cool. All right. Well, you are quick, agile, spear in hand. Will go first, facing off against Sir Orton as he drives towards you. These two lines of knights meet in the middle of this melee.
Okay, so yeah, she's feeling pumped, she's feeling energized, she's ready to stab some faces, she's got some tension, some aggression to work out. So she's gonna square up to him, almost like just very casually sort of come up to him, but as she gets closer, she starts like hopping onto either foot and dancing around him, and we're gonna do a maneuver.
Nice. Okay.
So is my okay. I need to remember how to do this. It's been a while. Oh, God, that's garbage. That's 10.
Versus passive fighting, not a chance in hell. Nope.
Okay, so that was just the first bit. So she's trying to get a feel for him and his movements, but he's standing firm. So she comes around and she's just going to do from behind her shield, just like a stab. Normal attack.
Sure thing.
So same again. Let's go, Miria. 16.
Sorry, I was looking at the wrong page. That is going to be 1 degree of success.
Okay, that is 3.
Okay. So you smash into his shield as he forms more of a defensive stance. This guy is sword and board knight all the way. Large shield bearing the Golden Grove colours on it, taking a couple of your spear shots as he readies. Will take aim and then will make a standard attack with that +1 bonus dice. I'll up it very briefly for this here. Oh, I can do that. Okay, that's fine then. So 22.
Oh, yeah, that's my combat defense is 14, I think. So that's 2 degrees.
14. Yeah. 19 would be 2, and then 24 would be 3.
Oh no, wait. My combat defense is 15. Sorry.
Still 2 degrees. 20 is 2.
Still, yeah.
20, yep. 2 degrees, 10 damage.
10
soaked
damage.
by your AR. Yeah.
Woo. Okay.
As he forms this cautious attack and takes a very well-timed stab with this sword at your armor. Just for flavor, do you actually take any damage?
She does, yeah. I think he gets past her.
It kind of knocks the
shield
ribs, you know, like
yeah.
Nice.
She sort of like skittles back a bit, lets out an oof because those ribs are getting to work. And oh, my camera went out of focus. She's gonna come in again. We're gonna try and maneuver him again.
Sure.
16.
That does actually succeed.
Okay, so he's got -1d to all tests until the start of the next turn.
Nice. Okay. And your other lesser action.
Yeah, so she's maneuvered around, and I think she kind of gets sort of behind his shield a little bit. Like she gets around it. She's done a Dark Souls roll, like past his right-hand side. And she's got in there, and she's going to go up with a stab, and I'm going to use my test die. I think that's right. That's going to be a 23.
Oh.
With 1 crit.
3 degrees of success.
Sweet. That's 9.
It is not double his combat defense. No crit there. What was the damage? Sorry.
9.
Okay. Again, there's a point where the lunges and some of the whips round manage to get past his shield defense, and it's very good defense. He is, a little cheer from the crowd. He is very good at standing his ground, being cautious, taking blows on the shield. It does just glance off the brigandine armor just around the gut. He doesn't look to be taken aback or winded, as now he pushes forward towards you, and he will move around you a bit more. Isn't really going to do anything mechanically, but is going to make a reckless attack.
Oh, and he's down a D because he got maneuvered.
Yeah, so I'm trying to counter that, and I'll take that penalty dice. So that's an 18 against your combat defense.
That's 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I said it was 15. It's 14. So
19 would be 2 degrees.
1,
so it is 1 degree of success.
Yeah.
That is just going to be 5 damage.
It's tanked by my armor and shield.
Nice. Okay. So again, blows on the armor and shield. As you probably take a couple of defensive moves and then back up to the top of the round, and you get to go again.
Okay, so Miria, she's coming in, she's dinking him, she's getting past that shield, and it's not doing anything. So she's going to be an idiot, and she's going to attempt to disarm him. She's
Okay.
going to try and knock that sword from his hand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use that bonus die I've got in my
Sure thing.
Myriad. Come on, don't be shit. 17.
This is against.
Against passive fighting result. If succeeds by 2 degrees, he is disarmed.
Let me just double check. No, it is only 1 degree of success.
Fuck.
So,
I thought so.
yeah, he sees that happen, and I think for the juicy fruits, what that does, you are going for the sword. Strangely, he drops the shield and he takes that opportunity to take his bastard sword in both hands and come at you. This is going to be a reckless attack.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any dice, unfortunately. So I'm going to increase this here. Yeah, I mean, it's not really a charge because he's not got the ground, I don't think. 16.
1 degree.
Oof, okay. But that is going to be 6 damage.
Okay, that's completely tanked by the armor too and shield.
Okay.
But I think this is
he
as
like
Miri's come
barrels
in.
into you, I think.
Yeah, she's got the shield up and just like poof,
Okay.
like a train, just knocked her.
Okay. I am going to introduce some circumstantial stuff here from the fighting. You've got a spear and shield. This guy is right up in your grill. If you don't maneuver out the way, this is going to be a -1 dice to your test, to your fighting test. It's
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like when Oliver had the distance disadvantage. This is that same thing. Because it's like one of the only tactics you can do against a spear.
Yeah, for sure.
Get in close.
Seeing what I can do here. Yeah, so she's gonna sort of back up as she can. She's gonna, use her lesser action to move.
Yep.
Out of his immediate range, and she's just gonna go in with a fuck off stab, like back up. I don't want you in my face. Get out of here.
Yeah.
20.
That fuck off stab is 2 degrees of success. Sorry.
6.
Hold the phone. He's dropped his
Dropped his shield.
Ignore that initiative. That is 3. No. 11, 19. 3 degrees of success.
9.
Okay. Again, I think you actually get a palpable hit on him, but you feel and hear that chink against his brigandine as it tanks it, and he tries to swat away the spear, and will.
Was it double his defense, Sam? His new defense?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Oh, it's a crit in there. There was a crit in there.
What's the one crit again?
1 crit
piercing,
is... Yeah, ignore 2 of your opponent's AR.
Oh, all right. It wins him slightly. We're starting to make a bit of ground here.
I'm doing it.
Wait, you're doing it. You're doing it.
This is 100% me doing a Dark Souls boss. It's just rolling, crying, and the odd stab.
He is currently a Dark Souls boss. Totally. Okay. I'm going to try the same stupid disarm maneuver that you are. He's going to actually try and disarm you of your shield. So this is a fighting test. Yes, this is with his long blades. I have no bonus dice. A 14 is not going to be 2 degrees.
No, it's not. Not my passive fighting.
No. Okay. Back over to you.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Brahel. That is 1 test die for me, 1 test dice for you.
Thank
Not
you.
if that's going to sway the fight anyway.
Okay, so she's gonna take a moment after this back and forth, after we've been exchanging blows. She's gonna take a second. She's gonna aim, and she's trying to aim for the armpit.
Of course.
It's callbacks. We love callbacks in this house. And I'm gonna use my test die also.
Okay.
from that I just got.
Straight from that. Yeah.
So I'm rolling 8. I'm keeping 5, I think.
You'd keep your fighting rank. Plus
Yeah.
1 for your test dice.
Yeah. And then so 22. Jesus Christ, Maria.
No crit, but it
No crit.
is what are we looking at here? I'm going to just write down the degrees of success for him now, because otherwise maths is hard and I'm crap at it. Really? Yeah. Jesus. I think it's 4 degrees.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, because 21 would be 4 degrees.
Damn, and that's 12.
Yeah, okay. Take away the armor. Okay. So he is no, I'm not going to eke out any longer. So you hit him under the arm, and you don't see any little like blood, like any like first blood or anything like that. But he does stagger back, and it is if you kind of caught a nerve. You've really kind of hit there. It's really shaken him. So he steps back, and he essentially waits, and he kind of not maneuvers, but he kind of watches for you. So I'm going to hold my action. Top of the round again. You get to go.
All right. Okay.
Well, actually, no, that's dumb. So, narratively, he goes in for a counterattack, and as you come forward and step forward again to press upon him, now that you think you've staggered him, he makes an attack. Because actually, I just realised that mechanically it would be exactly the same in terms of turns and process. I'm going to give him a cautious attack, though. So that is going to be minus 1, 2 here. A penalty dice. Oh! Sam Omega 6s is back. 3 6s. 18.
3 6s. That is 1 degree of success.
Okay, not double. Your combat defense, no. Damn it. Okay, with 1 degree.
Not today, Omega crits. You're not getting me today.
Oh wow. 2 bonus dice for you there. Okay, I'll chuck those in.
Thanks, lady.
Thank you, lady. 5 damage.
Tanked by the armor.
Boom. All right, you've got 2 bonus dice. It's your turn.
All right, we're aiming again. She's she's sizing him up. She's seeing now that he's a little bit wobbly, and she's remembering Force Ghost Oliver is in her mind, saying, use the Force, take it steady, don't rush, don't be an idiot. And she's gonna aim, and I'm gonna use one of them bonus dealies.
That's nice.
19.
Is going to be 3 degrees of success.
3 degrees. Okay, that is 9. There's a 6 in there just in case it's double.
It's double your combat defense. Yes.
Okay, so ignore 2 AR.
Sorry, 6 damage was it?
How many degrees was it?
3.
3, 9.
9 damage. Ignoring 2 AR. Okay. How does he yield to you? How do you defeat him?
Ooh, okay. So she keeps pressing the arm that's clearly bothering him. She keeps pressing that side, and she keeps just needling at him. And I think she manages to sort of stagger him enough that she can get like past his shield and too close a range for him to like clock her one with the sword. And again, similarly points the spear point as close as she can to his neck, even if she's like holding it at a really dodgy angle, just to...
Yeah, absolutely. He drops the sword, drops to a knee, essentially, and opens his eyes wide. You hear from his visor, yield, yield.
She steps back and she offers him an arm.
Nice. Okay. You are the last of the combatants to be fighting. The others are happy with that they've got through or they've been defeated, and you two are kind of left towards the edge as you've worked your way around the melee as the last two combatants. No one else has gotten involved. Strangely. I like to think because, and you would know maybe that some of the rumor has it that you're a Dornish fighter because you use a spear and shield.
Fighting in the Dornish style, too.
Fighting in the Dornish style, similar armor, but so you are this, Dornish mystery knight that just, and often I imagine mystery knights would just want to enter because either no one knows who they are, so they're trying to get a little bit of fame, or they kind of want an even match with somebody, and they don't want any kind of people to have preconceptions about them. So there is a real rumor mill about who this might be. And yeah, you offer him an arm, and he takes one knee, and then the herald declares that this round of the melee is over, and that several people have gone on to the final, and then obviously he has to say, and this mystery knight has entered the final. There's a bit of a cheer from the small folk crowd. People are a bit excited. You give it a a thing.
Yeah, I think Miria helps him off the field because she's worried. Like, she saw what she did to Jourdain, and she kind of still feels a little bit bad about that. And she just wants to make sure this dude's okay. Like, she doesn't actually hate this guy, right? It's not a real fight.
Before you get to leave from the ring, the melee, you hear a cry from the crowd.
Sorry, that was my cue. Sorry. I zoned out a bit there.
You're on.
I'll kind of get my attendant to kind of just call over the mystery knight to the box.
All right. So who was the chap we talked to, the King's guy we talked about earlier?
Willem Wild.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Willem Wild in this booming voice shouts across the crowd. Sir Knight, present yourself.
And it's that thing where the camera is on Miria's face while it's over her shoulder, right? And her expression is like, fuck. But she turns and she walks over. She's still wearing her helm, obviously. And comes to kneel respectfully in front of the queen.
You're down at the bottom of the stalls, and bow deeply, obviously. You're a stone's throw from the first row, but she is still a few rows above you, up in the box.
I am pleased to see such a well-trained Dornish fighter reaching the final.
And the mystery knight is still kneeling, not saying anything.
Remove your helm so that I may gaze upon who you are.
And you can see Miria's shoulders just... She takes a deep breath and she reaches up and pulls off the helm, shakes out her hair, and looks up.
There's a gasp from the whole stand and confused chatter from the small folk crowd on the other side who can't see your face yet.
And kind of Mariah's kind of eyebrows kind of raise a little bit in kind of shock, but then her face just settles into a smirk and she just starts to clap.
The Dornish Knights are the first to join in with the clapping. And then Reacher and Stormer Lords start to clap too.
Marzia leans forward to Bran and says, "Go say well done to your sister," and puts him down because I think he's wetting himself with pure excitement. It's Miria!
Yeah, yeah, totally. Okay.
Full-on 5-year-old.
All right. I mean, I'll let you guys have the agency for him here. So I guess he runs down to Miria, but what does he say? What does he do as we close off?
not meant to be a knight.
No, but it's a lot of fun.
I saw you stab him.
I did do that, yeah. You shouldn't do that, though. Not yet.
Tomorrow?
We'll ask your mother.
He looks up. Do we have to?
She like looks about really conspiratorially. No.
You're going to be in trouble later.
Oh, I know. And
And then
time
he'll
get to pull faces.
He'll jump at your armor and like wrap his
I'll
arms
hug him.
around you.
And I think Maria stands holding him, and she makes her way up to the stand.
And he waves at everyone because he's famous and tall.
And then as you leave the actual melee grounds themselves and the stalls, you do pass by the steely glare of one Maekar Targaryen.
I think Mary just smiles at him. She is in a fucking shithead mood. She's like gives him a smile, and then she just walks off and goes sits next to his mum. Because fuck Maekar.
All right. That is where we will finish it up for tonight, friends. That was juicy. Juicy fruits. Charlie, what an opener.
I know, I didn't have it in me to let the scene like draw on. I had a few more things to, I think, make clear some of Marcia's motivations and decision making, but I didn't have it in me because I knew what I was going to do and I hadn't warned V. And so I did it, and like I instantly got into chat like, are you okay, V? Do I have to hit undo? Like the panic was real. But basically Marcia and Maekar had a very convincing conversation about tests and dangers and what to do about them. And so it's being taken care of.
Yeah.
As far as Marcia knows.
Yeah. But see, now, like all of these kind of juicy fruit surprises, and, you know, it back to think when Miria was whisked away from Summerhall when I killed Tom randomly and stuff like that. I am genuinely excited to see where Mara goes from here and what it means for her.
Yeah, I definitely didn't want to do it like in meta to end Mara's story. That was definitely not an intention, and I wouldn't want to like stop a player from playing right at the start of a session either. That's kind of a dick thing to do. So I'm really like excited by what happened, and I'm so excited just seeing the scene that we've just had with Mara and Lord Tully, because I think Mara is like, fuck it, the head's in the game now. We had schemes before, but now we got schemes.
Yeah, and this is the epitome of failing forward, right? You know, she was defeated, but that's not the end of her story, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that does. V, how are you holding up?
I was not expecting Marcia to try and kill her. At first, when Charlie mentioned Salistria, I was like, is she going to try and scare her with the cat? I was like, oh no, she's going to try and kill her with the cat. Okay. Really glad that sword was still there. It's a on one hand, I'm kind of glad that Mara isn't very good with all the physical stats, because if she was, she'd absolutely have tried to skewer Salistria.
See, now I low-key thought, and I imagined this is the way that maybe I would have played it, that like if I'd survived the first round, I'd like look at the cat, look at Marcia, and think, and stab Marcia, because she's a helpless combatant at that point.
Mm-hmm.
She's just sat down like
wigging out, so it's like
go for her.
Yeah, the thing is, Mara doesn't know that Marcia is a warg, right? But she knows that there is some weird connection between the two of those. She's seen too much now and experienced too much with things that Marcia has done to not understand that there is something other happening there.
I mean, as a baseline, that cat isn't doing anything Marcia doesn't want it to do. It's never attacked you before.
exactly.
Said that cat was not acting of its own. I've just decided to eat Mara today.
I think it's hella creepy that she goes and just sits down in the corner while the cat just fucking goes at you. And it just seems to just kind of like half sleepy slump kind of thing, I guess. Like,
Salistria on the night of her wedding just sat and watched proceedings and nuzzled up to her. So she knows that this cat isn't a wild, vicious beast on its own. She knows that it can be made that way.
Yeah.
But I really like the fact that Samwell's sword was still there. I like the idea that there's weird symbology in that he left it there while he was promising to protect Mara.
Yeah.
And that sword is what got her back to the Tarly camp. I was super nervous about old Tarly because I didn't know if he was going to be like, you're the bitch that started rumors about my son. But apparently it turns out he was like, yeah, I kind of figured this was a thing and was just kind of...
No shit, Sherlock.
Like, yeah, it's like, I've already had 5 years to come to terms with the fact that you two are probably having a thing. So,
He's also not the kind of guy that, we know this as well in the meta too. He's not the kind of guy to really be bothered about either what Leo thinks or what the crown thinks.
Yeah. So, and I think Mara has always banked on that. She's always kind of hoped that was the case because he's always been really nice to her, I like to think. So in that moment, she was like, this is my chance because if he doesn't like this, I'm fucked anyway because he's not going to take me back to Horn Hill. So I might as well tell him. Not quite yet ready to admit that she secretly married his son, but we'll get there.
Yeah, that might be a thing. But yeah.
But I like to think that she's got the welcome to the family kind of.
You could be his girlfriend. You just can't marry him
yet. Yeah. But I'm also hoping that Daddy Tarly is like, my precious son can have anything he wants, even if it's the Oakhart's daughter-in-law.
Well, I also kind of think, like, nobles back in the day, it's like, he's kind of like, he knows, like, we fuck, right? You guys are just having a, like, you go for it. Just no bastards. Like,
no bastards is the rule. But, I'm also hoping that he's a bit pissed at Oakhart for dragging Samwell into everything, so...
dragging. That's how that happened.
But, so I'm hoping there's a little bit of contention there. But also, bonus points, there's a whole army not too far out. So what's the worst that could happen?
Well, you guys have got to, change the circumstances that you want to make. You want to utilize that army. That is a big intrigue. That is, you've got to convince the guy to change what he was going to do. But it's all up for grabs. And I had that thought too, in that kind of nice juicy fruits way. And this is crazy. Like, it wasn't my intention at all. But this just setting up all of these little circumstances of the story means that they can be used in different ways. That's what I really enjoy. So yeah, that's why I'm looking forward to the development of her story, because it involves a lot more of this as well.
I think there's going to be a lot of fire, either literally or metaphorically. But like, this is it's not quite the thing that's going to send her insane, but that hurt. Like, she loves Martia. She forgave this woman after the loss of her child, and now this.
Well, maybe you should have just done as you were told for once in your life.
I mean, where's the fun in that?
Like, you couldn't even die, right?
It's so on brand.
She told you to stay dead forever, and you didn't even do that.
The only thing that I want to know now is that now Mara's had the welcome to the family and she's secretly married Samwell and has clearly said fuck the Oakharts in possibly the biggest way possible, whether or not she gets a Tarly shield on her overlay.
Well, yeah, that is a question.
Now she's made the promise to be a hunter and not prey to old Tarly.
I like to think that the shields represent what society thinks of the characters, which is why, for example, even though she's really pushing for it, Miria doesn't have an Ironwood shield, or even like an Ironwood bastard with the flipped.
That's next week.
Maybe.
Depends how she legit though.
Depends how she plays it. You guys know what I'm like in the meta. If I say the gods are the only people who will know about her true birth, right? So if she makes this play about being an Ironwood bastard, then fuck it, we'll put the shield up. People saw Simon as this maester who had broken his chains, and that was the kind of heraldry that I put up on the thing. So yeah, I think you've got to live with the Oakheart shield for a little bit longer. until we
Okay,
find.
I'm sure Mara's gonna dynamite that reputation very quickly soon.
Yeah, until she.
I had plans. But I don't know how they're gonna. It's interesting because I don't know what she's gonna do about this decree that she has to have Samuel write, because she now can't stay at the tourney to have him write it and present it.
Mm.
So trouble. I do love you though, Charlie. It's all good.
Good. I'm glad. I still love you. I hate Mara, but I love you.
I mean, I'm just going to apologize now for the fact that Mara's probably going to come really hard for Marcia at some point in the future. After that.
Yeah.
I may or may not have typed a message to somebody and said, I wonder if Mara can wear that cat's fur as a cloak at her wedding.
Oh.
I'll feed you Sir Cluck.
Oh my god, there's still a fucking chicken in that tent.
Yeah, there is. All right. Enough fighting. Well, you can't deny a queen, I guess, Susie.
No, can't do it. But hey, I mean, if there was ever a time for her to get revealed, the queen applauding her is probably not the worst outcome out of that, to be honest. That kind of gives her a boost in the social standing, even though she shouldn't be there. The queen being impressed is probably the best outcome.
The Queen of Dawn who could legitimize you. That's just not an unpreferable thing.
No, which is why, she's, even though she is a Martell and therefore must be purged from
She could be a good Martell.
She could be one of the good ones, and we might
Hey,
keep
that
her
wasn't
around.
her choice. She was forced into that.
But yeah, that was good. I think today's episode went really well. It was a really good day for Miria, all things considered.
Yeah,
it's great.
That's fair.
You had a fun
really
time.
tight fight that in the end, well done. I built the guy up to be a bit of a Briar, a bit of a shield guy. Really well done. I mean, he dropped the shield after a while, but I tried to press it so I could get the extra damage. But he just didn't have that fighting.
One other big hit like that would have probably taken Miria out, or she would have taken a wound or an injury.
Yeah.
And then she'd have just been like just poking him, not doing any damage until he took her out of the fight. So yeah, it was a good fight. I think it looked really cool too. I imagine everybody finished pretty early, and it's just these two duking it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool.
And hey, Queen Mariah, call me.
Well, thank you so much for playing, Ash, and for guesting this NPC who is very important to the canon.
Thanks for having me.
And is I think a really interesting character. When we started thinking about her, it was like she was the eldest child in Dawn, set up from an early age to be the ruler of that kingdom, and then is basically part of a political bargain to be married to Daeron.
Oh, she pissed. She pissed for a long time.
Actually wasn't directly in line at the time, because it was Aegon. He's not called the Unlikely, but he was kind of unlikely to be crowned. And all these kind of deaths and circumstances led to him being king. It means she's got a stab at kind of governing again, but you can kind of tell from the attitude she's not really been afforded that opportunity. She's never appeared anywhere on a small council list I've sent you, or anything like that. So yeah, I hope that was a lot of fun.
I did really enjoy it. I was kind of wondering all today, oh my god, how am I going to play her? Like, how is this going to go down? But I think I kind of got her just right.
Well, you won these two over.
Oh, yeah.
You got to come back
in
next
real
week.
life.
We have another conversation to have yet. We're not done.
You've got to come back.
Yeah, there's got to be a comeback.
Yeah, I thought very carefully, because obviously she was set up to rule, and that was her expectation, and then she was sidelined by men. And even though she tried the political game when she was younger, it didn't work. So now that she's an old woman, she's bitter, and she's going to get the job done before she fucking dies.
And we're going to help her.
You said you wanted a friend. I gave you the fucking queen.
Oh, I'm adding her to my list of allies. I will do anything she asks. Much.
This whole
tell
episode
me
has just
that.
been all of the women either wanting revenge or being put in situations where they are going to want to get revenge, and I'm here for it.
Well, Marcia kind of got revenge, but she doesn't know she hasn't yet. So yeah, that too.
Let's be clear, for the record, she's not mad about Oliver. That is entirely not the point of what she did.
Mara doesn't
That's
realise
fair.
that though.
Yeah.
Sorry, Marcia doesn't know what Maker asked Sam to do either, because that wasn't the plan, Maker. That wasn't what we discussed.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go around quick and plug any plugs. The where can we find you stuff? Charlie, kick us off. What's the ERP up to?
In about 8 minutes, we're going to be playing Star Trek Adventures Sword of Kalis. The Klingons are back. Kapla. I would like to shout out my wonderful friend Hotflakes Tom. He is the star of Pendragon's Parish / Secrets of Pendragon on Tuesday from 2 till 5 at Encounter Roleplay. He is also Enzo, who you can see here on Thursdays, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. UK, in a giant hat, well, metaphorical, non-literal, fictional hat, as Enzo Sal, Marcia's other friend who didn't get to hang out today and who I actually really missed. I 100% would have loved him to meet the Queen. I wanted to see that. I need that seduction to try and happen because I'm about it.
That's fair. Coolio. All right.
Oh, second shout out, Jonathan Fry, amazing TTRPG creator and developer. Please check out all that he is up to. I know he has some exciting announcements in the future, so make sure to follow him on Twitter. And if you can, check out his Patreon, because that's where a lot of really cool content gets posted. And he does private games and things there as well.
I am one of those private players. Yeah, and it's an awesome time. He does actually have a spot on the Dark Sun private game that we play. It's one of the higher tiers, but honestly, well worth it. And for me to secure a tabletop game every couple of weeks, particularly D&D as well, has meant a whole load. And he's just been absolutely great. And always really challenges us, and we somehow come out on top still. I don't know how. We've been eaten by so many plants, and so many fucking things have come after us. But still, yeah. Susie, thanks again for joining us, friend. Where can we find you?
Hello.
What are you up to? What do you want to plug?
You can find me all over the internet at Susanna Grace. It's my name. It's got one N in it. Don't spell it wrong, otherwise I'll know and I'll come for you. I stream on Wednesdays and Fridays on my own channel, playing video games. On Fridays, I play Fragging Friday with V, where we play some Rainbow Six Siege, and we sometimes do well. We mostly don't, and we always talk about After the Fire. I imagine we've got a lot about to talk about tomorrow. The other thing I want to plug is on a Monday, you can find me on Encounter Roleplay for the Crownlands, in which I play another incredible Westerosi woman, Lady Allegra Dorsey. She's having these spooky dreams. She's stabbing men in hot springs. She's banging the Master of Coin. She's having a great time in Westeros. And that's at 3 Eastern, the usual times. Sam's shaking his head because he's my ratbag brother who wouldn't stand up for me when I really needed him to, and now he's off.
Because you were wrong.
Doesn't matter.
It's not the point.
Oh no, V dropped out.
Allegra would lie for you about anything. She would have stood up for you, Sam. But yeah, so watch Crownlands because it's also very good. And then that's about it, I think, for me. Also, just buy our merch. Follow us on Discord.
Yeah, fair. I'm just trying to correct us because we've all gone really weird.
Oh, we gone wobbly.
Yeah.
Buy yourself some swag ass t-shirts. We got After the Fire, we got Forget Me Not, we got Daddy Issues and Treason, which is definitely apt, and I hope mine comes very soon because I ordered it in hot pink. Follow us on Discord, join us on Discord where we scream about this show and the socials and stuff, because I'm also work for Black Cats Gaming and it's part of my job to make sure people know about that stuff, so click it.
Yeah.
Professional.
Yeah. Oh no, V's internet just died. So for sure, check V out. let's plug her. She works with me. Is it just Virginia? Yes. Command. There we go. She works with me at Modifius, making tabletop games. She also is an epic streamer, streaming, I believe, 3 nights a week. Tomorrow, Fragging Friday, as Susie mentioned, she does a Wednesday stream where she's currently playing The Witcher, and she does some follower-voted streams as well. If you like your retro video games, she plays a lot of those on the off chance, do lots of little emulators and stuff like that. So do check her out at Tabletop Horde, both on the Twitch and the Twitters.
Also, if you like the RPG content, she just did a playthrough of the Wretched and Alone game. It's a super cool playthrough to watch. It's a solo game that involves Jenga towers and dice and a death spiral in space. Highly recommend checking out that if you can find that on the VODs.
Yeah. V just pointed out something that I believe is absolutely true. And you're always better at plugging other people. Maybe one week we should just plug each other instead.
Yes.
That would be cool. But Ash, you're not really around on social media, but if did you
I'm a
want
nobody.
to shout
But
out?
follow all of these guys.
Do you want to shout out anything? No, you don't have to.
Follow these guys. I don't know.
Cool. All right.
Don's cool. Follow Don.
Don is cool.
Don is cool. Also, buy Spy.
Yeah. Well, let me do
Give my husband money, please.
Let's do
Hashtag buy Spy. That should be the.
Susie,
Nailed
you're
it.
fired. Charlie, you're in.
No, Ash. Ash is in. Ash the one that said it.
Yeah, buy Spy. Yeah, let me do some of the Black Cats Gaming plugs. We are very soon to be publishing our Kickstarted game, The Spy Game. It's a 5e powered game all about international espionage, action, and intrigue. If you like all of those buzzwords, do check it out. Very familiar rule set, obviously, most popular role-playing game around, and I absolutely love the spy genre. And I've hacked it in lots of different ways, and I really wanted to put this together. So James, Susie, and I are doing that right now, and the late pledges are still open, but close on the 20th of September. That's the one. So if you are still in this channel watching us and you still haven't pledged and you've been thinking about it, get on that pledge because you might miss out. Obviously, of course, when it is released, then you'll be able to buy it at all good places that sell role-playing games. We're here every... What was that look? What was that look? I'm going to ignore you.
Also available at shady dealerships.
I just totally missed my mouth. Don't worry about it.
Oh, that wasn't me. Okay, cool. You enjoy
No, it was
that.
me. It was me.
And we're here every Thursday. You can catch us here 8 p.m. UK time. That is 3 p.m. Eastern for you over in the United States of America and that continent. We are, I'm also on social media as RPG Webby, pretty much everywhere on the Twitters and the Reddits and stuff. And I'm playing on Crownlands on Monday. I also work for Modifius, so we launch all sorts of tabletop games, war games, RPGs, board games as well. Don is telling us to clip Susie's missing her mouth. We're going to chat crap for another couple of minutes until Encounter Roleplay is definitely online.
Should be coming on soon. Lydia's very good at pushing the button on time, unlike me.
Good, yeah. So yeah, if you enjoy the juicy fruits here on After the Fire, then check out the rest of the Fireverse over at Encounter Roleplay.
Also, shout out while we're here, the Green Ronin system. They just did the update with the Sword Chronicle, and we've been using the new expanded outcome rules for intrigues, which is also to do with what happens if you've been convinced but you still don't quite do what you were told to do, or what happens if you've been convinced but multiple people were involved in the situation, which is something that's kind of come up a couple of times for us because we like multi-intrigues, because we like multitasking. So
it's a great fix for it, and because it's something that we house ruled away a little bit, with the way I was like, okay, well, if there are multiple people involved, the main conversation is actually just 2 people and everyone else kind of gets a bonus or contributes a bonus. Whereas actually this solves a little bit of that, and a slight issue I had with the old Song of Ice and Fire system, whereby it basically it was like a kind of mass combat with you knocking out opponents individually and stuff like that. But it's good that you deal the killing blow in intrigue, you get the consequence of like the charm or the taunt or the whatever it was. But the person who actually dealt the most damage influence-wise to you gets the actual objective done. So there could be a mix of that. Yeah, I really enjoy the little changes that they've made, like the little subtle ones. It's been really good. How are we doing on Encounter? You are muted, friend.
I'm just looking.
No worries.
Looks like we're live.
Hey, cool. All right. So, a game very close to my heart, Star Trek Adventures. My first project with Modiphius. I'm very proud of it. And we just launched the Klingon core rulebook. You do not have to buy this as a supplement. You don't have to get the original core book. This works standalone and is a good 400 pages of Klingon awesomeness. It's currently in preview. You can buy the PDF right now. It'll be published as a hardback very shortly, and that will actually get a bit of extra artwork in it, a bit of extra layout to make room for that. So there will be a slight difference, and your PDFs will be updated once that is actually published. So we host an encounter roleplay is the whole word, right? Did I spell that right? Oh, it's raid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not
It's
host.
/
Good.
Nailing it. Just don't forget to put the O in it, okay? I've done that a couple of times.
Why aren't you letting me? I don't know why it's not letting me do this.
/ raid.
Hey,
There you go.
There we go. All right, go and enjoy
Nailed
Star
it.
Trek Adventures. Stick around because it's freaking awesome.
Kapla!
Kapla!
Today is a good day to roll dice.
Encounter beige. Right, see you, friends.